Have you heard that we're gonna be meeting Jesus today?
Today is
Today
officially
is the
the
day.
rapture day.
Yes, today and
Interesting.
tomorrow are the day of the rapture, and I just thought, I am actually Christian, and I thought that this was hilarious because the rapture is so non-biblical that it's not even funny. But welcome back to Palestine Speaks. I'm Kim, and today we're gonna be switching things up just a little bit. I have my bestie, Femme, here with me today. Thank you so much for joining me today, Femme. How are you?
Hey, I'm doing well. Super excited to get this project jump off. We'll get with it, guys. Just stick with us. Don't worry.
Yeah, so you have your own podcast called SheRoasts, and we thought that we would join up together and do a few podcasts, if not a lot of podcasts together. So
Yes.
yeah, you want us to tell us a little bit about your podcast, what it's going to be about?
Yeah, so, She Roasts, the Coffee Intifada podcast, kind of was an idea that came to me and kind of had the idea for a little morning show to just update the news and talk about the issues. She Roasts, it's got the coffee vibe, which fits the AM, kind of the AM show thing. And also, I love to do satire and have a dark sense of humor because how can you
We
not
all
in these
do.
crazy times, right? You gotta make jokes to survive, basically.
Yes, you do.
Yeah, my idea was kind of just to basically roast the colonizers and roast all the political idiocracy and just the stupidity of it all, because it's really feels like we're living in a whole circus or like an upside down reality. So that's where I'm at. Bring a little humor, a little dark humor to the darkness to light
Along
things
with a
up a
cup of
notch.
coffee, right? And I forgot my
Yeah.
cup of coffee today.
Yeah, that'll kind of be my thing. I'll probably always have a cup of coffee or a cup of tea. So
I
grab
will get
yours
on.
and what?
I'll have to get on that so that way we can both have our coffee and we can
Yeah.
have a little chat. That's actually a great idea that I just
Yeah.
totally spaced this morning, so forgive me.
Yeah. Kind of got your Femme Intifada with the Femme powered news hour and solving the world's problems before a second cup or first cup if you haven't had one yet.
Well, that's really cool. I'm really excited to get going on that with you. As long as everything continues to go as it will, we will have that up and ready to go for you guys.
Yeah, I'm feeling great. So everybody, just before we get started, go ahead and hit the like button, like, share, subscribe, and
Yes.
hit the bell as well so you can be notified every time we upload. All right. We got to get advice from the Gen Alphas how to be cool. My
I don't
son Ali in Gaza, he's 14. He taught me how to use ChatGPT. He teaches me all the things.
I know ChatGPT is killing it right now, but we got to be careful because it is also ran by our friendly, not so friendly neighborhood Zionists. So we always
Right.
have to be on the watch for that stuff. But let's kick things off today. And I just wanted to say, have you heard or do you know about? And I just thought it was so funny that I had to bring it up for just a hot second. But have you heard that we're going to be meeting Jesus today?
Today is
Today is
officially
the
the
day.
rapture day.
Yes, today and
Interesting.
tomorrow are the day of the rapture, and I just thought, I am actually Christian, and I thought that this was hilarious because the rapture is so non-biblical that it's not even funny. But I was actually shocked to see all of these crazy little snippets online yesterday of just people saying that they're ready for Jesus to like come and swoop them up in the middle of the night, and it's like watched some video of some guy saying that there was a woman standing outside his apartment building naked, waiting for the rapture to happen. Like it's crazy town.
Hey, you
But
know
I
what?
get the need. I get the need because things are really bad. You know what I mean? Things
I
are
think
really
all of
bad.
us might be secretly wishing there was a rapture of sorts about to happen. I mean, if it is, I don't know if I'm getting taken or not, but it would be nice. I,
Well, we're
I
still
have to
sitting
say.
here right now, so
Right. I know. We may be on the naughty list. I'm not sure.
I'm not on the naughty list. Come on now. Yes, I am. Yes, I am.
Yes. No, I mean, if you're not in line with the whole evangelical, like Zionist situation, I don't know. Maybe you're not getting raptured. So I'm not sure.
I would say one of the very big videos that I watched yesterday on this topic, the lady had on a Charlie Kirk shirt and a heart. And I'm like, "Ooh, honey, like I don't think that that's a good look for you."
It's like, this is my entry shirt into heaven. You got to have your Charlie Kirk shirt with a little,
I don't
to get
know,
in.
but it was like, "That's not a good look, sweetheart. Like, I know you believe it, but I don't
I'm
think
like,
that's gonna help."
how do we get in? Like, do we need like a golden ticket type of thing? Or like, how does this work?
For the
Do you
rapture, I
have
have
any
no
footage?
idea.
Do you have any footage or anything of anyone? I know you made a video about it yesterday. Is there any?
There's only 2 more days until the rapture, and if you guys aren't paying attention, then you need to watch this.
Rapture trip tip number 5. When you finally start moving up into the air, I recommend that you don't hold on to anything. I definitely don't recommend looking down. I think we learned that lesson from Lot's wife.
Or if that wasn't convincing enough, check this one out.
Don't forget to unlock your phone. If you are a pre-tribber like myself and you truly believe that Jesus is going to come and rapture his church here possibly within the next week, if not any day now, don't forget to unlock your phone, because I know a lot of people are...
Makes total and complete sense, right? Have y'all ever heard of the Great Disappointment? Because that's what this is bringing to my brain. But if you are really serious about the rapture happening and you want to make a donation, I have a whole list of people that you could give them to, your stuff, your money, all that kind of stuff too, that would really make a difference and probably make Jesus really happy. There are so many families listed in my BIO that you could help today and probably even make Jesus happy in the process. So good luck with your journey. Remember to donate all your stuff so we don't forget. And until next time, free Palestine. It was actually quite entertaining. And then I felt a little bit guilty about laughing about it so much, but and then I felt like I needed to give a full breakdown of why it's not truthful, but that's neither here nor there. I mean, I just thought it was funny, but this also brings me into one of our next quick talking points, and that was Charlie Kirk had his funeral yesterday. And I don't really give a crap about Charlie Kirk, but one of the things that happened during his funeral was Stephen Miller was up on the podium and he had a lot to say. And he quoted and even spoke from a really old time Nazi propagandist before the war had originally even gotten started. And that was something that I wanted to bring up because I just thought it was so interesting that I had to share it with you guys. So let me pull up the video real quick and I'll show you what I'm talking about because it was wild.
Things hidden in plain sight with these people, and I
Right.
really feel like it's their symbolism that will be their downfall, because it seems a lot of times like, I don't know, the elite, whatever you want to call them, kind of take for granted that the public is actually very smart. There are normal people from all walks of life out here that have a lot of different skills, and we ain't stupid. You're not pulling the wool over our eyes. We see what's going on. There were a few things about the funeral service that really caught a lot of people's attention. I mean, that
Yes, there
was
was
a
a
good
lot of
note.
things.
Yeah, good thing, good find on your end for noticing that, because I didn't even watch it. Of course, I tuned out yesterday from the world for a little while. Just
That's
trying to be
okay. So this
perfect.
is it. I'm going to play it right now.
The forces of wickedness and evil. They cannot imagine what they have awakened.
That's Stephen Miller, the White House Deputy Chief of Staff, speaking of Charlie Kirk's memorial. His words closely mirror a 1932 speech by chief propagandist for the Nazi Party, Joseph Goebbels, called "The Storm is Coming."
We are the storm.
Goebbels was a key architect of the Holocaust and Hitler's close confidant. He used the stark dichotomy of good versus evil to justify Nazi superiority, galvanizing the base for revenge against perceived enemies through a religious moral framework. Stephen Miller rallied supporters using the same language.
That fire burns with a righteous fury. We are on the side of God.
Goebbels also demeaned critics, portraying them as subhuman and dangerous, just like Miller.
Those trying to foment hatred against us, you are nothing. You are wickedness, you are jealousy, you are envy, you are nothing.
Miller, Vance, Trump, RFK Jr., and Hegseth all used Kirk's death as a basis for building a movement and permission structure to crack down on the left in the US. And they did it by framing Kirk's killing as not the responsibility of just the shooter, but anyone who criticized Kirk or the Christian nationalist movement. They painted him as a martyr in a spiritual war between good and evil. Vance, RFK Jr., and Tucker Carlson even compared Kirk to Jesus Christ, using divine framing to cast retaliation against entire groups as righteous. And all of it echoes what Nazis called a holy war against Jewish people, queer people, Black people, people with disabilities, and political dissidents, as they used Nazis' death as martyrs to elevate their cause. And their movement thrived under poor economic conditions as Germans looked for an enemy to blame their problems on and someone to save them. We're in dangerous territory, and we need to keep our eyes open.
Okay. So
Oh, that's a lot to unpack. You know how they say in the media, never let it on. How does it go? Never let a good catastrophe go to waste, or something like that. A crisis.
Yeah.
Never let a good crisis go to
Yeah.
waste. So they're on top of it with the media. Like, even if whatever you believe in regards to conspiracy theories or whatever, they're really quick to jump on these type of events and use them to really steer the narrative. And it reminds me of the propaganda video that Israel put out immediately after Charlie died. They put out that AI video of him looking like an angel speaking to everyone which is like, to me, totally insane. And I kind of feel like it's just really tone deaf, and like it was just bizarre and weird. And like, I don't think anyone is really falling for that shit. And if they are,
You know what's scary about
I don't
that
know.
though is there's a lot of people falling for this stuff. And that's the part that
Weird.
scares the crap out of me. Like, this isn't just someone saying something willy-nilly in front of a large group of people. This is like more than half of our country believing the crap that not only Trump is throwing out there, but like this guy right here, Pete Hegseth, even Kennedy is in charge. And like they just had a whole speech yesterday. And like all of the stuff that they are saying is so much bull crap that I can't even get through it all with like a lot of the times when I'm trying to sit through and watch content or watch things about Trump or stuff like that, I could only handle so much. And it's because of all the lies that are packed into every single sentence. It's not like, before, like all of our political people have always lied, right? But now it just seems like every sentence of every word that Trump says, along with everyone in his cabinet, is so filled with lies that you have to try to like string together. And not only string together, a lot of the stuff just doesn't even make sense. It's like
Yeah,
who
they
is
really act with impunity at this point, because they've been able to get away with so much that they know that, I mean, I feel like they're just testing it. Like, let's just test the waters and see like how audacious, like how ridiculous and bizarre we can get with it. And like, let's see how far people let us go. And
but you
it
take
is
it.
kind of strange to see like how much religious extremism there is in the world. Like people who personally, and it's not to knock anyone's religion or anything, because truly I believe at the core of the religions is love, and the religions are good inherently, but it's people that take these concepts and then make them extreme, and they twist them to basically fit their own agenda and fit their own narrative. And that's what we see with people like, these psychopaths that are ruling the world. Not to name names, but like our president, like,
Oh, I'm
Netanyahu,
gonna
like
name his name a lot.
they
So
it reminds me of like the secular, how Zionism is not Judaism, first of all, and we are all learning that. So I feel like that anti-Semitic trope is starting to really hold less value
yes.
in the eyes of the population. Like we're all kind of pushing back against that, and it's just a lot of them don't even believe in God, which is interesting. Like
Yeah.
your values and morals, and or lack thereof, show that you really don't actually believe in the things that you're preaching. They're really just using the religion as a tool of propaganda to brainwash the masses, essentially.
Yes. And I just think that we have to be so careful, especially like when not just Stephen Miller, but Trump, when Pete Hegseth, any of these guys get on the TV and they say all of this hateful, words that like really ring in people's ears and like it lasts longer than we would like it to. And it also has a lot to do with the political, not even just the political space, but also with like the race debates and all of this stuff going on. Like it is so wild here in the streets that you have to be careful no matter where you go because you don't know who's racist, you don't know who's going to beat you over the head with something because you disagree with what they're saying. Like right now is so politically charged in the US that you have to be careful to even say anything to anyone without getting shot. You know what I mean? Like it's
Right.
that bad.
Divide and conquer, right? So, because
Yes.
and we know within our movement, for the Palestinian liberation, and to include also the people of Sudan and Congo and Haiti and all oppressed
Yes.
people around the world. But when we say free Palestine, Palestine has become a symbol for international, like this is a symbol for humanity and for, you
Collective
know,
freedom.
yeah, exactly. And so when we say free Palestine, it means so much more than Palestine. And it's not negating the existence of, the Israeli people or anything like that. It's just to say free humanity.
Yes.
And they really bank on keeping us divided. And so I feel like I've been going by the term apolitical lately, and I try to explain to people how both sides of the political spectrum are two wings on the same dragon. This
Yes.
is it's a classic war strategy to keep people divided in order to be able to conquer them. Hence the divide and conquer. So, I was listening to Pink Floyd, Hey You, and I posted it in one of my groups actually. I was trying to kind of bring people some hope and give them a little pep talk. And I thought that line is really powerful where they say, "Together we stand, divided we fall." It's
Yes.
true, and I think that they feel, to me, seeing how the entity is going through so much trouble to push all this propaganda and to like keep us all feeding into these ideals that keep us separated essentially,
Yes.
shows to me that there's a massive awakening happening around the world. And like globally, I feel the majority are definitely realizing through Palestine and through witnessing their suffering that we are all human beings and we all want and need the same things.
Yes.
And somebody in the Middle East is no different than me here. Like we have a lot of loved ones, around the world. And so we've really been able to kind of destroy that whole idea of like just the propaganda that has allowed this entity to basically manufacture consent is
Mhm.
starting to crumble. The narrative is crumbling, and to me, I'm kind of like I'm flattered. Y'all are going through a lot of trouble to try to keep us locked into this old paradigm of thinking, but people are waking up.
And I have to say with that, like when the media was the media and nobody had phones, we couldn't control what we were seeing, right? We'd only see what one direct narrative wanted us to see. Whereas now, with like TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, all of the social media platforms, we are able to connect with people that we've never dreamed of connecting with at the speed and length of time that we've never had before. So not only can we talk together, but we can talk together with people who are in Gaza, with people who are in Congo, Sudan, anywhere in the world that we want to connect with. All we have to do is open our phones
Mhm.
and boom, we're having a full conversation with them in live time, which also goes to show what's happening in their life in real time. And that piece is something that we've never had before. And that's what helps us connect that humanity, right? Well, if we're able to see that they live no different than us, they're the exact same. There's no differences in we wake up in the morning, we brush our teeth, and we go about our day. To be able to see that and be like, hey, this isn't right, this isn't fair, this is what we need to do to make it better. And
Mhm.
that's the biggest thing is like being able to humanize what we're seeing. So when we talk about wars, when we talk about genocides, when we talk about oppression, when we're talking about all these things, it's a big deal that we're not only able to talk about them, but we're able to show examples. So
Right.
that way other people can see that we are not making this up. This is not something that I thought up in my head. Like these are real life examples of
Right.
people's daily lives of them being bombed and tortured and raped and mutilated and all those
Starved.
crazy starved nasty things, which just kind of like brings us into our next topic, which would be the Gaza assault and what's happening in Gaza City right now, right? Gaza is under major attack, and I wanted to let you take a little bit of a point with this.
Yeah. So part of that propaganda narrative, they love to say like, Gaza would, Pallywood, right? Like I've seen videos come out of Israel where Israeli people have commented on, oh, a lot of what's coming out, 50% of what's coming out of there is AI. And it's like it's crazy because we know, and I think our perspective is important because we know so many people on the ground to
Yes.
say like I've seen these things firsthand. Like
Yes.
we personally know people that live there on the ground, and they want to use this narrative of the hostages, as an excuse to basically destroy and ethnically cleanse the entire Gaza Strip, whilst at the same time we have people like what's his name? I always think Beelzebub.
Not a good
Bezalel
name.
Smotrich or whatever his name
Yes.
is, Ben Gavir. We hear these far right extremists of the Israeli cabinet saying things like, we want to occupy the Gaza Strip. So underneath it all, we see what the true intention is, what their agenda is, and yeah, they're absolutely just battering and hammering the north of the Gaza Strip right now, like worse than we've ever seen. I personally have, people that I love very much who have had to flee the north in order to survive, but it's expensive to do that, and they don't have anything, and they probably will never be able to go back, unfortunately. And a lot of people are actually choosing to stay and resist and try to survive. I think I've seen numbers like 600 to 800,000 people remaining in the north because they have
Where are they
nowhere
gonna
to
go?
go.
Where are they
Yeah,
gonna go?
right.
And the other piece that I wanna add to that, when people wanna say that it's AI or made up, I know that both of us maybe not in the same sense, but the both of us have spent a lot of time with families on the ground. And when I say that, I don't just mean that we're just sitting there talking. I mean, I know that I personally, and I'm pretty sure that you have as well, spent time with when families are like being bombarded with bombs, guns, missiles, all that type of stuff. We've been on live calls with these families.
Yeah.
And for as much as you want to say that AI can generate this stuff, when you are live and in real time, this is not stuff that you can make up. This isn't like what access do they have to spend their time making up fake videos of them being bombed? I mean, realistically, that doesn't even make
Right.
sense. You know what I
And to
mean? Like,
constantly blaming Hamas for basically impeding any aid that's coming in, or they're stealing the aid, they're stealing the food. When we see videos that are not AI coming out of settlers violently blocking and barricading these trucks from being able to enter the strip. Like,
or the Gaza Humanitarian Foundation killing people while they're trying to get food. And that's an American based, supposed entity there to protect and to distribute food, killing civilians that are only trying to feed their families.
yep,
And
thousands of people so far have been killed, starving people just trying to get food to provide for their families. I mean, even children are getting unalived at these humanitarian aid points every day. And we have US mercenaries that are our neighbors or people that we live around going there to the Middle East and literally, killing Palestinian civilians. Like we had Anthony Aguilar, blew up the internet, for lack of better words. Sorry.
you're fine on here.
Went very viral, coming out telling his stories of what he witnessed at these humanitarian aid foundations. And I had seen something a couple days ago that said, I think, and I haven't been able to verify this, but Israel saying that they no longer want anyone outside of Israel bringing or dropping any aid into the strip, which we know some other countries have been contributing lately. They're saying now they want to be fully in control of what goes in. So what little they have will probably become even less if that's the case.
I this just reminds me so much of a video I watched of a little girl, and if I had the video, I would show you. Um, but it was a little girl who was telling her father, "Let's go and get aid." Like he was trying to tell her that we can't go and get aid because we could possibly get killed. And this little girl, I think maybe 4 or 5, maybe 6 max years old, said, "Oh, let's go anyways." Can you imagine being so hungry that you're willing, a little girl, a little girl is so hungry and is so starving that she would rather risk her life to possibly get food than to die hungry.
Yeah, it's tragic. I made a video on that very situation you're talking about. The little girl is precious, and I've seen plenty of videos of children in the Gaza Strip saying things like making jokes about literally running directly toward a bombing because, like, how could dying be any worse than the life that they're living? When you have children facing things that they should never have to face, first of all, they're being forced to grow up way too fast. And secondly, they're aware that they're suffering. And I mean, I saw another video of a girl who was asking her mom, "Mom, is there food in heaven?" And then her mom said, "Yes, there's food in heaven." And she said, "Well, I think I want to go to heaven then. I'd rather be there because at least we can eat and be with our loved ones." It's tragic.
It's tragic. That breaks my little heart. But these aren't new ideas, right? We've heard these stories over and over and over again. I mean, besides hearing the stories, we see the pictures of not even just children, but people starving to death.
So yeah, I just what we were talking about a minute ago feels like a segue into some big news that's hitting the algorithms, and that is the recognition of a Palestinian state by, I believe it was, um I think Malta was in there, Canada. Let me see if I can.
France, UK.
Yeah, France, the UK, and it seems like, oh, it's a good thing, right? Like the recognition of a Palestinian state. That's what we want. It says Canada, Belgium, Luxembourg, Malta, France, and then I think some others are joining in too.
But the one country that vetoed it,
Right, of course. Well, of course we
the
vetoed it
United
because
States.
this is as much our genocide as it is Israel's, because we funded the entire thing. And pretty much at this point, I think even whether you're on the right or the left, people are realizing that this is pretty much the United States of Israel. Like
And it's
we
not even
are
just one
owned and
genocide.
controlled. Yeah.
right? It's multiple
Right.
genocides. Like the US is funding multiple genocides happening right now at the same time, continuously, and like that's one thing, like when you get into this, most people don't realize how much our hands are in everything and how other large countries' hands are in everything. Even Israel's hands are in many other genocides that are happening around the world. It's not just Gaza, it's multiple places, you know?
Mhm.
And speaking of which, though, before I get into that too far, because that can take me down a whole nother rabbit hole that I don't mean to go
Right.
down, but I
Yeah.
also want to bring up because we have friends who are on the Global Samud Flotilla, and I am actually completely in awe of our friend Nadia. You speak to her more frequently than I do, but she did join us during the concert and she left us with some insight. And I just want to speak on that for a moment because it's one thing to hear about the Global Samud Flotilla taking place, and it's quite another to have friends that we know personally who are doing this and
Yeah.
doing it so gracefully as well too.
It all ties in together from the point we were just talking about. So it's like you can recognize a Palestinian state all you want, but Israel's making it very clear that there will be no Palestinian state. All that does is reinforce the two-state solution, which we already know how the two-state solution works. It equals apartheid and it equals segregation and separation of the two countries. Like we know that it doesn't work. Yes, do we want Palestine to be recognized? Of course. Like we've been arguing for its right to exist for almost 2 years now with all these Zionist Hasbara bots on the internet. But you can recognize it as much as you want, but unless the governments are willing to take like some type of united action, the onslaught is going to continue in the Gaza
Yes.
Strip. And soon it will move to the West Bank as they are planning to annex the entire West Bank. There, mark my words, the genocide it will find the West Bank as well. It's a
Well, the
slow roll
genocide has
now.
already found the
Right.
West Bank. Like,
Yeah.
this is not
Yeah.
something that is, like, completely far off or in the future. Like, they are actively being all but being
Displaced.
bombed
The
right
homes are
now.
being leveled. Yeah,
Yes.
Janine is a 90 something percent completely destroyed. So it's already happening there for sure. But I guess how I was going to tie it all in was, I think human beings have finally woke up to the fact that it is up to us to do something about this. Like if we sit silent and we wait for the governments to do anything, we're going to keep on waiting and they're just going to finish off the whole job. So people like bless her, our sister Nadia, who Nadia is an amazing woman. She's a lifetime activist for Palestine. I don't know if you knew
Yes.
that. Her parents were both activists
Yes.
and she's been fighting for Palestine and their sovereignty for a long time. She actually contacted me a little while back and was like, "Girl, we need to get on a boat and go to Gaza basically." And I was like, you want me, like one woman from Oregon, and you, one lady from the UK, to basically like spark an entire revolution? Like, you want me to get 1,000 ships to, okay, let me just open my contacts real quick. But it seems that people around the world were having the same idea because literally not 2 weeks after Nadia came to me with this crazy idea, which I was pretty down for, but couldn't really swing that quick, ended up coming to fruition. People have tried. We've seen, so since the late 80s, I believe, people have been attempting to go on, smaller crews, just one boat at a time. They've been attacked, there have even been activists that have been killed along the way. There's a cool story by a guy named Ken O'Keefe. He was an activist who went, I think he was ex-military, don't quote me on that, but it's a pretty cool story if we want to pull it up after we look at our slides and talk about it. But their boat, I can't remember the name of it, was actually intercepted as well. And he was able to somehow like finagle the IDF soldiers like weapons away from them and like did this whole thing. So he has
That's
a pretty
actually
crazy
cool.
story. But what went from one boat, consecutively over the years has now turned into a fleet of at least 50 ships, I believe. Right here, you can see Nadia. She's been having a hard time. They're on the Catalina if you want to track their location, but she she's had seasickness almost the entire time. Nadia owns a charity in the UK called Ebony's Voice, and they directly work with Palestinian families on the ground. And she's got a lot of families that she really loves, and she just works so hard to support people. And I know her heart is in it. Like she's committed, whether she's sick or not. Like Nadia is set on making this journey. to try to break the siege and open the humanitarian corridor so that more ships can come. And it's really beautiful to see these people, like, this is the best of humanity, in my opinion. Everyone that is going is literally risking their lives, risking their freedom to do this mission. So not only do we have the Global Samud Flotilla, but they were supposed to launch tomorrow. We've got the 1,000 Madeleines that are about to set sail as well. So they have had a couple technical difficulties, I believe, and they are going to be launching on the 27th. So a whole nother fleet of ships and boats is going out on the 27th to accompany the Global Samud Flotilla, which is a week, if not days, away from Gaza. So they're getting pretty close. And we've got more people, like I said. So I think, you can stop one boat, you can stop one group of people, but as this movement rises globally, like, you can't stop us all. I truly believe that more people are going to go, and what is maybe 50, 100 ships is eventually going to turn into 1,000 and maybe even 100,000. Who knows? But I think human beings at this point are not going to stop until Palestine is free, until we liberate humanity, and until we see an end to the supremacist Zionist entity that is literally a threat to all of humanity. We
So
we want to see it in our lifetime, and we're gonna see
exactly.
it.
So I just wanted to point out for you, for maybe those who don't know, if you go to the globalsamudflotilla.com, you can actually see where all the boats are on a map in the ocean right now. And the Catalina is number 10. And if you click on it, it'll pull you into where the boat is located in the ocean right now. And I just thought that this was so cool. So if you have friends who are on a boat, you know what boat they're on, you can see exactly where they are as of right now, today, on this tracker, which is actually great. I know that they had a live feed on the previous ship. I was looking for one for live feeds from them now, but I don't know if they have them. But with that being said, every person who's on the boat is pretty much live streaming every single day. So if you know who's on a particular boat and you look for their name, you're going to find it. And along with this, like, we have to mention, what are they carrying in their boats? They're carrying baby formula. They're carrying medical supplies. They're carrying food, like regular, basic, everyday things that regular people need to live. And yet we have to worry about the people who are on these boats not only being bombed because they've been attacked a couple times already, right? We know that the last few flotillas that have gone through have been intercepted and taken by the IOF. And so we just want to make sure that all our eyes are watching these boats right now to keep their safety, right? If we all come together and we say, hey, we know who's on this boat, we know who's in this whole flotilla, we know who's there, there's no way that they can say, oh, well, no one's paying attention, so we can just do this. Or we can do something else that's even just as worse because no one's paying attention.
Right.
So, that is why, like, I'm stressing that we have to keep our eyes on these people every single day. And then it also helps when you have a personal connection like we have with Nadia, right? And if you've ever met Nadia, she is one of the sweetest people that I have ever met. She truly cares about every single person that she comes in contact with. She's lovely, she's sweet, she's kind. And I feel so bad that she's having some seasickness right now and she had to have an IV put in to, help her get through because she's losing so much fluids. But she said something during my live that really, like, hurt my heart. She was saying all the stress and all the things that I'm going through is nothing in comparison to the Palestinian people. And she just wants them to know that all of these things that she is doing herself personally is for each one of them who is over there in Gaza. And that's the point of every single person that you've ever heard speak, is like, they don't care what happens to themselves. They want to save and do the human thing that they could do by bringing food, by bringing medical supplies to families and people who need it the most. So these are the type of human beings that are on these boats, and we need to keep watching and make sure that we know what's happening with each and every one of them.
Yes, all eyes on the flotilla, and just keeping all eyes on the cause right now is super important. That's why, after almost 2 years, you can see, like, we're still out here, we're still at it, we're still working with families every day, we're still making videos. Like, everyone, I try to say, like, every one of us has a critical role to play
Yes.
in what's happening right now globally. Like, just because we're here in America does not make us removed from what's happening in the Middle East. As a matter of fact, we're directly responsible, as our governments are the ones funding this. So, it's not about us. It's about the people who are being oppressed right now, and making sure that they know also that we are with them around the world, because we've seen countless videos come out of Gaza, people just screaming at the sky, like, where are the Arab nations? Where are the people of the world? Why are we alone? Like, they've given up hope at times on thinking that anyone's even going to come and help them. So right now, like, this mission, it's so, yes, it is about opening the humanitarian corridor, but it's also about showing the people of Palestine that, like, you know what? We're not just going to sit back and pray for something to happen or wait. Like, we are coming to help you. You are not alone. We're willing to risk our lives, in order, and our freedoms, in order to let you guys know that you are still in our hearts, and, like, we will not forget. For me, it's until my last breath on this earth, like, I will be fighting for the rights of oppressed people, even after all of this is said and done, you know? So I agree with you. It's really important we keep our eyes on all these brave souls who have taken to the sea to try to do what none of the nations, governments of the world have even attempted to do.
That's another thing that I want to talk about humanity, right? Like, I just feel like we are in such a poor state as a human species, right? That out of all of the governments, out of all of the countries in the world, regular everyday people had to bring together a coalition to save people in another place, right? We can't depend on our governments because they're not going to do it for us. So they created the Global Samud Flotilla, all the flotillas to go there to save families, to save people, to save kids, to save adults.
Right.
And without that, like, where would we be? Like, I just feel like our humanity is suffering so
Yeah.
severely right now that it's not even funny. And it's
Yeah. I think,
because of all of these crazy and nasty things happening from where we live to across the world to every
yeah.
corner, there's evil.
Right.
And, I
Yeah. It
understand the
seems
need
like
for, it's just crazy to me.
it is. It is. It's crazy. And, I think what they want us, with all the propaganda and everything they're giving us, they want us to believe that, like, we're outnumbered, right? Like, that we don't stand a chance in this fight. We might as well just give up because we're coming up against something that's, it's so big. It's bigger than all of us that, it's an impossible mission, but it's not. Love always prevails. And that was a message that came through by the beautiful artist, Muka Murray, that performed on your concert. It was really a theme that was coming through to me that day, was that good wins. Love always prevails. And, like,
Yes.
we as a united humanity can do anything. And I think that people are waking up more and more around the world every day. And I choose to come from a place of, like, I've become a very positive person in that I do believe in the silver lining. I try to always find the silver lining in every situation, because it's really important to keep our morale up. But I see more and more people waking up every day. There are millions and millions of people that are standing up right now, waving the Palestinian flag as a symbol for a united humanity. I don't even think that they realize sometimes, as they're going through their suffering there, that this strip of land, 25 miles by 5 miles at the widest point, has literally become this epicenter of, like, hope for the entire race of humans, which is like billions of people at this point. Like, we outnumber them realistically. And, I've heard the opposition. We've all heard them come with their little talking points of, oh, what are they going to do? How much aid could you possibly carry on, one boat? It's like, it's
More than what they're
symbolic.
sending in every single day. Like, not
Right.
sending in every single day. I should clarify
Right.
that. How much
Yeah.
food do they have just sitting there? How many
Right.
trucks do they have waiting to go through and they're not sending them through? Why? Because they can, and they want to kill and starve off the entire population. So, you know, I just think that it's wild that there's food there, right? There's food right outside the gates that they're just not letting through. And it's
Yeah. It's
sad. It's sad that we have to come together and we have to have like
yeah.
the Global Samud Flotilla take food thousands of miles because they're not allowing it in.
Yeah. You can see, I mean, it's wild to see, like you said, how this entity has gotten its claws in every government all around the world almost, it seems like. Because if they hadn't, then we would see more direct action being taken by the people in power, but they're sitting quiet, not doing anything. I mean, no one that could do something is doing anything. And so that's why, it's up to humanity. The governments now, I want to say it's so hypocritical as well for the ones who have been funding and sending weapons to Israel, now recognizing a Palestinian state as you're what, still sending
Weapons
weapons to Israel?
of mass
How does that
destruction.
make it make sense?
It's
Like, you
like
have
they're
blood on your
trying
hands.
to appease the one side, us, who are saying that all these things need to happen at the same time. They're like, "Oh, well, the sleight of the hand, no one's gonna see me if I just send them, a couple $1,000,000 worth of weapons, right? Like, who's gonna pay attention to that?" But we do see it, and we have continued to see it, and we've continued to call it out, and it drives me crazy just to think, like, what is all this for? Like, why are we, right? Why do we come together and do this? And it's because of not just Palestinian people, of people over the world who are suffering,
Right.
who need help. And what are we
Yeah.
doing? We're doing our best, but at the same time we need more help. We need more people
Right.
to wake up and to
Yeah.
realize that this isn't a problem overseas, right? This is a problem right here where we live,
Mhm.
and we have the ability to do something about it.
Right. I mean, I'm guilty. I'm using an iPhone right now
Me
as we
too.
record. And like we talked about, I saw a tragic video coming out of Congo where it was like a little children who are being night and day
Force.
slave mining minerals out of these mines, getting beaten down, don't have food, don't have the comfort of their mothers, don't have anything that normal children should have. Also, that we can have these phones in front of us. So, like, we can't help necessarily to be a part of this. It's late stage capitalism, unfortunately. They've got us locked in with the money, which is a whole nother rabbit hole, but it makes us responsible. Like, we are responsible to utilize whatever resources we have to try to do whatever we can to try to mitigate the suffering as much as possible. Because if not, we're all complicit. So,
Well, we all are complicit first and
right.
foremost. Like, we cannot say that we're
Yeah.
not complicit because we are, but there are things that we can do with boycotting to prevent and to help stop the spread of what's going on. And so with phones, if you have a phone, it probably doesn't need to be upgraded. You know what I mean? Like, there are so many things, and I even have a full playlist of just about boycotting. So if you're at all interested in that, make sure you check it out. I'll link it in this video below for you. But there are more than one ways. Like, we all buy different things. We all have our hands in different pots. And even if you just boycott one thing, just one thing that is important to you,
Mhm.
right? And you stick with that, it's going to make an impact
Yeah.
because we've seen it. We've seen it time and time again. We saw it with Target. We saw it with Starbucks. We've seen it so many times. We've seen it with Adidas and Nike. Like, there are so many brands that I could name. Lush just came
Yeah.
out not too long ago, and they completely shut down their entire stores in the UK for an entire day to
Yeah.
stand in solidarity with the Palestinian people,
It's
right?
powerful.
It's powerful. You know how
Yeah.
much money they lost in one day because they shut down everything? They even shut down their website, you
Purchasing
know?
power is everything. And I think that maybe people haven't been educated in this enough that they think, like, well, what is my $1 going to do? Well, the
$1 does a
dollar
lot.
the dollar is what, like, money is what this is all about, right? Money and power. But if it's all about money, then that means that what you spend your money on is basically
Gold.
fueling or enabling whatever, empowering whatever entity you want to spend your money on. Like, your dollar has power. So I think it was like maybe it was about a year ago already. So even just a year into the BDS movement and the boycotting of Starbucks, they had lost like
A lot
over
of money.
$12 billion
They've
within the
lost
first.
so much money.
Yeah, I mean,
So much
like, to
money.
the point where some of the branches of different businesses are being forced to close. So when one person does it, I mean, it does make an impact, but when we all do it, it's really, like, it is more powerful than you guys think. So one boycott that I'm working on that is a company I've been using for years is Spotify, and I was really really upset to hear that the owner of Spotify had invested some $400 million into drones weapons technology that is literally killing children in Palestine as we speak. So I don't want to be complicit in that. It really pisses me off that they're taking our money and they're spending it like that. I've thought of ways that maybe if I'm using it in a way that, like, say I use it for my business and then I'm making money that I'm then sending to Palestinians. Like, is that kind of like a loophole around the boycott? Or I'm probably going to have to just say
Well,
no, because I know a lot of artists have been pulling off of Spotify.
and I just want to say along with that, like another big one that we should be boycotting is Amazon. But,
Yeah,
right? When we
right.
think of like, we have some families, I know I have a lot of families who are in Egypt right now, and I have actually used Egyptian Amazon to send them things because it's cheaper than
Oh,
purchasing it
nice.
from here and then having it shipped over there or whatever else. And like it just cuts the cost way down if I purchase it from like an Egyptian Amazon and have it shipped directly to them. And these are like necessities, right? Like I think one family had a baby, they needed baby supplies, like we did like a little baby shower for them. And this was just a way of like helping this family because they were in Egypt, they can't work, they can't do, all of the
Mhm.
regular things that regular people would do when they have a baby. And it was just to show appreciation. Even though I think that we should boycott all of these things, sometimes there are loopholes that do help.
Right. Yeah,
And if that's the only way that I'm able to provide something to a family that's in Egypt, I'm going to take it, right?
right.
Because if it's a need, it's a need.
Definitely.
So it's hard.
Some things
It's
are
really
some
hard.
things are I think some things are easier to avoid, and other things are kind of like, okay, well, this is something I can't really, I mean, all of it is
Necessities are
pretty much
different than wants, right? Necessities
right.
are different.
Like, I don't need to ever go to McDonald's and eat there again. Like, I don't need to have Starbucks. Like, I make my coffee at home. That's fine. I save money. It's better anyway. But certain things for me, like Spotify, that's a hard one because as a massage therapist, I use it in my business every day. But literally, the money I make in my business, I turn around and literally support families on the ground to live. And so
It's
there
a hard
definitely
choice.
are. I think there are some loopholes and some toss-ups. Just if you have to use it, make sure you're using it in a responsible way and
Exactly.
make sure you're doing good with it if you have to.
And
My
I think
advice.
I think I think when I talk about these boycotts and stuff like that, people think like I'm not being realistic. I'm still a realistic person. Like I know that not everything works out perfectly, but do you really need to spend money on some lotion that supports genocide when there's all these different other types of lotions? That's what I'm telling you. Just think about what you're doing, where the money is going towards. And I'm sure for every one product, there's at least 20 billion other ones that you could pick from. And that's the whole point of like with my like boycott calls and stuff like that was just to get you thinking and have you
Mhm.
say, hey, this one is helping the genocide. Let me purchase a different product. That's all.
Right.
I'm not telling you to get rid of it. I'm not telling you not to use it in your life. I'm just telling you there are more than one option
Yeah.
and we could take advantage of all those things. But yes, when it comes to Spotify, when it comes to Amazon, like that's where my brain is when it comes to that.
Wow.
Yes, boycott at all costs as much as you can. But if you're using that to help a family and that's what's helping you to help a family, does
Use
that
your
make
best
sense?
judgment sometimes. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think it does for
Yeah.
me.
So
And then, we can always work to, it's all in the making. So we can always work to be better every day. There's always different ways. Like if I really wanted to, I could definitely probably find another app or another way. And I've been exploring other options, but it's funny because the other option would be like Apple Music or something. So, I mean, and we're still supporting an entity that it very much is run by Zionists.
as
So, it
podcasters,
is
it's
what it
going to be
is.
hard. I know it is,
Yeah. Well, hey, and then I mean, to be honest, if we take this, say we take the audio from this and like we decide to upload it, to Spotify, then we're literally using their platform to counteract like their,
Yes, their
so
involvement.
we're using it against them in a way. So it's like there is no reason why people should be starving in Palestine right now. Like
No, with the amount of
we
food
have
we waste.
such an excess of everything. So we don't, it's good that we support each other, we all have different skills and we all have different strengths and weaknesses. And I think if we come together and we learn how to work together versus being in these isolated little units, which they've kind of programmed us to be ever since like the lockdowns and everything,
Well, I could
I
even
think that
relate that back to us. Like we just had
so
this
much
conversation a
more
couple days
powerful.
ago, right?
Yeah.
Like we both feel very isolated. We talk to a lot of people on a daily basis, but it's hard when you have families coming to you asking you to help them and you feel inadequate because you can't provide everything, right? So, when we're able to come together, have these conversations, feel like we're more of a team unit instead of just like over here trying our best to help in what way we can. I think that that's a good thing.
Yeah. I know a lot of the people on the Samud Flotilla have expressed that exact sentiment verbally. They've said things like, you know, I got tired of sitting around and not knowing what to do anymore. Like protesting, it's good because it raises the morale and it shows how many people around the world are actually, I'm not going to say it does nothing, but it definitely, I mean, has it stopped the genocide? No, but
No.
it is good for us all to see that. But people have said, like, just whatever we're doing hasn't been enough. And so they decided to hop on a boat and do the best thing they know how to do. And that is try to literally go there to Gaza,
Which is so cool, by
I
the
hope they
way.
arrive.
Yeah, I
Yes.
hope that they make it there very safely. And there's so many other pieces that we could talk about with what's going to happen with the Global Samud Flotilla. I try to keep them to myself just because like it's my own brain worrying about what happens. And I
Right.
don't think that that does anyone any good to just sit there and worry.
Yeah.
So I won't
We should
fool anyone.
always
Yeah.
It's like it's my other hat that I wear with my spiritual business and my spiritual practice, but I think like it's our words are powerful. They literally have quantifiable effects in our influences our how do I call it? Like it influences our reality. So I think it's best to speak and focus on the outcome we want to see versus the one that we don't want to see because a lot of what they're doing, like this is warfare on multiple levels. It's spiritual warfare. It's a warfare of media and of news and of knowledge. It's a physical war where we're actually literally seeing it. We're seeing it happen on the physical level. We're seeing a lot of death and destruction. But I think one thing the enemy knows how powerful our collective mind is, and so
Yes.
they want us to be bombarded by all this negativity, and all this pain and suffering because we kind of push that out and I think it influences, the outcomes and like what happens. So it's just, we got to stay positive as much as we can. Let the
And
people,
with that being said though, like, I know a lot of people say, well, how I get this question all the time, right? And I'm sure you've gotten it too, is like, how can you sit and watch the images coming out of these genocidal places, right? And it's not a want. I don't want to sit and watch babies being unalived. I don't want to watch that. I don't want to watch adults. I don't want to watch kids. I don't want to watch teenagers. I don't want to watch babies. That was not something that was ever on my bucket list of things to do, but I do it anyways because it's important. It's important to remember their names. It's important to share their stories. And, just watching, like just this past week, I was talking about this with you before, but the week of the concert, there was news coming out that just like broke me, seriously broke me, and I did not want to do the concert at all. I had actually decided I was thinking about canceling several days, multiple days before the concert actually came. And then something happened that changed my mind. I have a friend who's in Egypt right now. He evacuated from Gaza in 2024, I think the beginning of 2024. And he has been working his butt off. He's not even 21 yet. And he's been working his butt off and he's been trying to get into school. And you know how all that stuff goes. Like normally they're just sitting there. Like there's nothing for them to do. Like they have to beg for money and work their butts off every single day to even get enough food to feed, their families. And he actually received a scholarship to go to school in Alexandria. And that just kind of lifted my whole thoughts.
good.
So
There are little amongst amidst all the despair and the darkness, there are little things to celebrate, and it's important that we do pat ourselves on the back for the little wins. We do recognize the good things that are happening too, because that's, I think, part of winning a battle, winning a war. And I think Nadia had told me this before, is it's in the morale. Like if we
it's
lose
resistance.
morale, we give up,
It's resistance,
So
right?
exactly, right. And so like I think all of us, you are not alone in feeling that. Even Bisson comments, Bisson comments on feeling that way, like just waking up and feeling hopeless and not even wanting to get up, but then like seeing something that inspires you.
Yeah.
And I'm so glad you did that and that you did that concert, because it also really uplifted me and reminded me, you know what, like we're all going through this and like we need each other and we need those little moments of goodness to kind of keep us fueled and to keep us going, Because it's a lot. It's too much. We're not wired for this. This is unprecedented, the level of trauma that everyone is being exposed to. Like, first of all, I mean, it's one thing to see it from where we're seeing it, but it's got to be an entirely different thing to be living in that every day and never. I just think of how exhausted they are. But still, you see stories of Palestinian people smiling, dancing, celebrating, finding hope, saying Alhamdulillah. For those of you who don't know, that just means thank God. I mean, they're thanking God for everything, even as they're living the hardest time that they've ever lived. So I think for them, we also need to there's a line from a song and she says, save sorrow for tomorrow because today we freedom fight. And we have moments where we need to like feel what we feel and we need to honor that and honor the emotions. But also, I think it is important for those of us on the outside to kind of stay strong for the ones that are on the ground. Like I had one of my families today, I was talking to my friend in Gaza and he was just saying, I don't know why, I'm just really sad today. He was feeling the grief. He was like, I miss my brothers. And, he's lost 300 members of his family. Like 300. I can't even fathom that.
I don't even know if I have 300 members in my
I,
family to be able to
me
count. You know
too,
what I
to be
mean?
honest. And it just, he has these moments where like he definitely gets down and I just let him go through it. Like, I'm like, you know what? It's totally normal that you're going to feel anger and you're going to feel hopelessness and despair. And like, nobody would ever shame you or blame you for feeling like, feel your feelings. And like, I'm going to stay strong and stay positive for you because I know that we're like their light. We're their lighthouse. We're their beacon of hope out here, like they need us.
With that being said, though, every single person I've ever met that is Palestinian, whether here, there, anywhere, they are the most sweet, kind, and loving people that I've ever met. Like, they don't even know you, but they want to know how your day is. Like, but I'm talking families who are living in Gaza right now. If you were to text them, the first thing they're going to ask you is, how are you doing? Not, I need this, not, I'm dying, not any of that. They ask you how you are doing and they expect an answer before they continue with the conversation. And then
Yeah.
if you
None
ask
of
how
my
they're
family,
doing, they're going to say,
exactly.
Alhamdulillah. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Every time.
Every single
I'm
time.
fine, no matter what they're going through.
Right. And it's like,
My
what's
friend that
really
I was
going
just
on?
talking about, he always asks me if I've eaten today. Like, he
Yes.
always wants to know that I've eaten. He
Yes.
could be starving, but
Yes.
he gets joy knowing that I've eaten. Like, a man in a genocide that's starving cares to know that I've eaten. And I feel bad sometimes. Like, I'm like, I don't know. And he's like, no, like, it like makes me feel good knowing that like you have what you need because they genuinely love. Like, they are just such loving, amazing people. Like, and I think that's one thing that, you know, ever since like 9/11 and everything, there's been such propaganda and social engineering to make people believe that people from the Middle East are y-
Evil.
that they're just terrorists and they just love to just bomb things for no reason. And no, it's like, yes, the spirit of jihad is alive, but really the word just means to struggle. They've been forced into this situation, right? But like they are still just the most amazing people. My son Ali, he's such a little entrepreneur. Love that kid. He finds a way no matter what. But that kid, he knows I'm struggling in America right now. And one of the first things he says to me is, he's like, how do I send you money? Like, he wanted to send me $60 the other day.
Are
And
you
I was
serious?
like,
No.
yes. And I was like, no, my son, like, you need it more than I do. Like, I have the ability to make money, like, you keep it. But my mom was brought to tears when I told her that, because it's like, this kid is living in a genocide and he's offering to send me money because he knows I'm having a hard time. Like,
And that's
that's who the
exactly what I'm talking
Palestinian
about.
people are.
That's
Yeah,
exactly what I'm talking about. They
that's
are
who
the
they are.
kindest people that you'll ever meet, and they just give without even thinking about it. And that's the one thing that has continuously happened from my very beginnings working with people from Palestine all the way through is I've never met, and I've met a lot of people, right? We've both met a lot of people that we've had a lot of issues with in this whole
Right.
process, but I've never,
Yeah.
ever had one problem with one Palestinian person that I've ever met. Like, they are the
I
sweetest
won't
people
say
in
I've
the
never
world.
had one problem with any Palestinians because, like, just like anyone else,
For
humans
the
are,
most part, though, in general,
yeah,
in general.
yeah, no, but you generally know, and that's mostly just with people that I've gotten close with that, whatever. Humans are humans. Everyone's under a lot of stress. And so
Yes.
I think shit happens. But like for the most part, no, they are just some of the most amazing people I've ever met. And get you a Palestinian in your life. Like if you don't, I tell people all the time, they're out there. They're on YouTube, they're on TikTok, they're on Facebook. Like if you don't know if you don't know a family, message me or Kim. Like we'll link you up. But honestly, get
Listen,
yourself some Palestinians. Get to
right.
know them. Like see who they are. You will see like they are not the villains that they have been made out to
And,
be.
every day, it's always good to see, like, your old friends and stuff like that, but every day, like, that you do this, like, you meet someone new that you haven't met before, and that just goes to show, like, there are so many people in this world, and all come from different backgrounds, and they're just there wanting you to know about their lives and what they need, and you know what I mean? It's not even about for me, it's not even about, like, helping them with money, it's just about being kind, right? They're being kind to me, and I wanna be kind to them. And I wanna help them with what they need. That's the whole purpose of all this when I got started was just to help in whatever way that I could, and it just kinda took over.
Yeah. Yeah, my friends and families that I have on the ground never ask me for money. Like when I can, I help them, but they know that I'm just like one person trying to survive too. So they don't they care about me. Like and there have been times that I've offered to send money to people and they've said no because they know what my situation is like. And I do get messages from a lot of families every day who are just utterly desperate for help, asking for money. But if I can't, I always just offer them some words of kindness. It's like, you know what? Like, I can't give you financial support, but I can give you emotional support and I can be your friend. And they're always really thankful and grateful for that. And like, sometimes just being kind does more than even what money can do. Like,
Yes.
making a friend for life, is more than just giving someone $5 that will barely be able to buy them anything in Gaza anyway. Like, so, it doesn't hurt to be kind. Love is free. So spread that shit.
Like peanut butter. So, something that I like to do when I have guests on, almost every single time is just ask them what they're doing for their own mental health. So what are you doing to protect your mental health so that way you can stay healthy, stay active, and stay in this fight because we need everyone here. So, what are you doing?
So it's really hard because I lost someone very close to me going on 4 months ago on the 27th. So I mean, I've been grieving really hard and I think what I do is just honor where I'm at like that day. Every day is different, but I listen to myself. Like if I feel like I need to sleep more that day, I do that. Like just honor your body, honor where you're at, let yourself feel what you feel. For me, getting outside is a big one. Like my dogs, thank God, keep me, I have to take them for walks like 4 times a day. That's been a blessing because getting outside, just taking your shoes off, just putting my feet on the ground really helps. Like I actually have a hula hoop. I started busting that out a little more the past couple days. Just put on some music, dance, like move the energy in my body. But yeah, just getting more rest. Honestly, sometimes unplugging for a little while has been really important. Like yesterday, I gave myself a day where I didn't get any news updates or anything, and I just let myself sleep a little bit more. I soak sometimes at the place where I work. I work at a spa
Oh,
and
cool.
we have really beautiful soaking pools. So once a week or so I try to do a nice soak which just relaxes all my muscles and my body because we carry so much in our bodies. We carry trauma in our bodies and like sometimes we don't realize how much tension we're holding and so it's nice to, get a massage or if you can't afford that, take a bath or do some yoga, like anything to kind of open your body, open those channels, get the energy moving, and allow that stuck energy to have somewhere to go. So that's been really big for me. just cooking a nice meal every now and then from scratch. Like, I'm a slave to convenience sometimes, I won't lie. But when I take that time to prepare myself a meal, sit down, eat it, like just little things, it's really just the little things that kind of keep us going. If you're anything like me, I tend to isolate quite a bit. I don't really
Yeah.
have a lot of people around me.
Yeah.
So, getting in touch with someone that you love and, staying connected to your friends is like, it's really important. Like, I may not have a lot of friends, but the ones I do have, I know are always going to be there if I ever need you guys. Like, so just stay connected. Make sure because we're social creatures, we do need, it's important to be alone, but it's also important to lean on the people you love. So that'd probably be like my biggest advice. Just do little things for yourself that you love and enjoy to kind of keep that good energy, keep those good energy reserves built up for the hard times. And just stay connected to the people that you love. Like, it's really important. And if you don't have a pet and you can, honestly, they can be such a wonderful comfort. My animals bring me so much unconditional love every day, so I'm really thankful to have them.
Me too. I bet. I have, 2 kitty cats and 2 dogs, and the 2 cats are boys and the 2 dogs are girls. Don't know how that
Cute.
happened, but, they really do help, especially, like, I know when I'm super sad or something like that, the cats will come and just, like, make you pet them, They're in your face, and they just, like, want you to love them, so it definitely helps when you're feeling down.
What kind of things have you been doing?
So, something that
Reverse
I
the
do
question.
this is something that I've been very strict with for the past couple months, and I think that has really, really helped me, and so I do this stuff every day. I work from about 8 o'clock in the morning until about 5 or 6 o'clock every night, and then once that time is over, I, like, unplug from my phone. I don't do much with my phone after that. I might, go to a friend's live for a couple minutes. I might do some things, but for the most part, I stop working, and I just kinda let the night rest. And that has been such a big help for me to be able to come back the next day and continue what I'm doing because before I was reading and seeing and living all of this stuff all day, every day. And that can be such a heavy toll when you're watching, people die all day, every day, and I don't mean it in a sense that I don't care because I do care, but we do have to have a little bit of
Mhm.
self-preservation, and for me, what I've done is, like, after 5 o'clock, I stop working, I stop looking at all this stuff, and then I'll just hang out with, my family or my boyfriend or whoever else, do some things, I go to church, and then I feel better, and then, I'm able to come back and continue my work at a regular time, so Monday through Friday, 8 to 6, about 6 o'clock, I say I work full time, and then after that, I'm done, and when I say work, this is what I do. So, I'm always online, and I know sometimes I'm not like, you don't see me, but that doesn't mean that I'm not working with families, that I'm not doing something, and, it really is time consuming, and it does take all of my energy to do this continuously every day, and so I think that, setting a time aside has really made the biggest impact for me when it comes to all this work that we do. So that's what I do.
Good to know.
But
Nice.
it's been a good reset for me. I feel better, and even though I'm seeing all these terrible images still, it makes me, more able to handle it a little bit better because I'm
Yeah.
taking some time to rest. So, you know
Yeah. There have been times during this fight that I've allowed myself to get very burnt out. And so
Me
I'm pretty
too.
careful at this point not to
Me too.
let myself get to that place of total burnout because it's really hard to kind of bounce back from that. And just, I guess, to end my thought, there is, my family's on the ground. They tell me the same thing. They even say, like, you need to take care of yourself, like,
Yes.
because it's true. Like, if we don't, then we really will have nothing to give at the end of the day.
Yeah.
So, yeah, well, I'm
And I
really
know you give a lot to this whole movement. I know that if I'm being honest, I know that I give a lot. And, we really do have to, like, stay in it, and the only way that we can stay in it is when we are healthy and when we treat ourselves well, and so that looks different for every single person, and that's why I like to talk about it on the show is just be like, "Hey, what are you doing? Do you need to do something else?" Like, you know what I mean?
right.
To continue to stay healthy. But, I just wanna say thank you so much for joining me today. I think that this went really, really well, and for everyone that's not washing, for everyone that's
Washing? Hey,
watching
maybe you're washing while you're watching. It's good. Maybe it's about to be prayer time and you gotta do a little wudu.
Yeah. But for everyone that's watching, we will be doing this every day or every Tuesdays and Fridays, so make sure that you're watching for our videos then. And we're just gonna continue to talk about what's currently happening, what's going on. We'll have special little pieces mixed in there as well. But If you have questions even, you can drop them down below, shoot them to one of us, and we would love to answer your questions live. I know I wouldn't mind as long as they're respectful questions.
Yeah, drop in the chat where you're watching us from, and maybe comment something that maybe you learned in the show that you didn't know about, or maybe drop some knowledge in the chat for everyone else. We're even thinking about opening up like a panel to maybe have guests on, or we'll figure it all out. But yeah, tune in on Tuesdays for our pre-recorded content.
Well, thank you so much.